Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? So happy to be here with you today. We are going to make a Biker Babe card because girls ride bikes too, don't we? So this card is called Legendary Babe, and I used the large motorcycle from the Legendary Ride stamp set. I hope that you will stay with me and watch me show you how to put this card together. We're using stylish shapes. We're using the square that's missing right here, the second smallest. We're using the alphabet a la mode letter dies for the word babe. We are using the metal plate 3D embossing folder. See that embossing here? And the Legendary Ride stamp set. It's a fantastic little bundle of stamp set and dies. You're gonna love it. Let me move this stuff out of the way and get us started. All right. So first things first, we have an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of basic white. And we have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 of the Stargazing Designer Series paper. Yes, the Stargazing paper works really well with this particular bundle. I used it yesterday as well on my live stream. So we're gonna get this going. You can see how beautiful this paper is, both sides. I hate to cover either side, but we're gonna use the pink today. I wanted to add a little pink. Pink's one of my favorite colors. And I wanted a pink bike card because bikes are not just for guys. All right. So we're gonna add this layer right over the top. Get that bordered all the way around. I'm gonna use my roller just to help it grab and adhere to my cardstock. All right, then I have a 2.5 inch by 4 inch piece of basic black cardstock. I ran it through that embossing folder and put it through my die cut machine. You can see how beautiful that is. Hopefully it's not blurry. And we are gonna put that in the center all the way across from top to bottom of our card right here. Again, the wet glue works really good with embossing folders because it gets in all of these little nooks and crannies that are created on the debossed side. And I just love how it looks. Okay. Let's go ahead and add this piece. And I'm gonna do my best to center it. If it's not perfect, I'm okay with that. I do want it to be straight though. If it's not 100% centered, life's not perfect, so I'm okay with that as well. All right, let's press that into place. You can also use the roller over this. As long as you don't press too hard, it will not push down that beautiful embossing. So there's that layer. Now we're gonna set this aside for a little bit. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fussy cut the word legendary. I was gonna use it like this, but I thought it took up too much space on the word babe. So I really wanted you to be able to see that through there. So since I had already stamped this, I decided to go ahead and use it. And so we're gonna go ahead and fussy cut this word. Now I stamped it with the stamp that says "You are legendary." And I just put a piece of tape over the words "you are" and just made sure that my Melon Mambo ink went over the word legendary. I can show you in a minute, but let's finish fussy cutting this. I didn't plan on having this this already stamped. It just worked out that way when I was designing the card, and I didn't want to waste it since it was already cut. I left it because I thought, well, if I don't like the fussy cut one, I will go ahead and use this one that's angle cut for my card, and I'll put it in a different spot. And the designing process is always like hit or miss. You never know what you're gonna like until you actually do it. So you end up with all these like extra pieces that you were thinking, is that gonna work? Is this gonna be how I want it? That kind of stuff. So the cool thing about this is I am gonna be a little bit intricate with my fussy cutting. I'm gonna go back around the other side on that L. This L, for those of you who are of the right generation, reminds me of Laverne's L that she had on all her shirts. Remember that? So popular back then. All right, so I'm gonna go in here into this L right here. We're gonna come around and dip into this piece here, cut into that. I love that these paper snips get into these little tight spots with all the way to the tip they cut. So we're gonna go in here, gonna come around, and I just wanted that L to be really scrolly and pretty. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going back around and getting that to be how I want. And now I just have to fix my G here. I want it to be a little more rounded. All right, we're good. So there's our legendary. I'll show you how I stamp that so that you guys can see. Let me grab a scrap paper. I always have them sitting around on my table. So here's You Are Legendary. And so I took a piece of tape and we covered the word You Are like that. Took our ink pad and stamped. Then we pull our piece of tape off, and when we stamp on our scrap paper or on our basic paper, you just have the word legendary. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this to this and get rid of this scrap paper. Now for the word babe, I ink blended with Melon Mambo over a piece of cardstock. Let me grab a scrap and I will show you. So here is my piece that I used. And so I used a small blending brush and I started at the bottom adding dark color and really intensifying it. And as I worked my way up, I just waited till it was almost faded out and then just lightly and gradually added more color until the top was light and the bottom was dark, and then I placed my dyes over the top of that. And you're gonna see me on the piece that I blended that looks like this, but I wanted to show you how to blend that real quick. As far as the bike is concerned, we're gonna stamp that in Memento Tuxedo Black. So let's get that guy up here. Such a cool motorcycle. So what you're gonna do is you're just going to lightly tap, make sure that you get good coverage. And I like to take large stamps and place them like this, upside down. And that way, I'm gonna stamp it once. I'm gonna stamp it a second time, but first we're gonna die cut. I wanted to get 3 pieces of this bike. And so we're gonna stamp another piece here, but we're gonna wait because I need the front wheel again. I guess I could have moved it over and then done the front wheel if I was thinking properly, but I wasn't. All right, let's move some stuff out of the way and allow ourselves to move in our big guy. So here is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to use number 1, number 2, and number 3. The other number 3 was on the bottom. All right. So we're going to put our motorcycle in here, and we're going to take our second smallest die shape, and I really wanted that wheel and the seat on the first piece, so we're going to run that through. I'm going to push it back over. So that's the first one. Let's pull that out. Then I wanted this little section where the handlebars are, so I raised it a little higher. And you can see it doesn't give me much room to get another wheel, which is why I have to stamp us another piece. So we're going to stamp another one right here. Let's move this temporarily out of the way. I'm going to grab my scrap paper, put that in here, and we will stamp our front wheel. So let's ink that up. We only need that front section. And I'm going to leave that scrap paper there because I'm stamping through the holes. So we'll put that, press that nicely. All right, so there's our front wheel. We'll clean that in a minute. Let's just get it in here and do our last part of our bike. So for this part, I used the front of this wheel, and it gets a little bit of the headlamp, but I really wanted that whole wheel in there. I thought that was pretty cool. And so we'll run that through. And I'm moving my mat all over the place. All right, so there is our piece. While we have the machine out, let's go ahead and die cut the alphabet. So we need 2 B's, an A, and an E. And so we're gonna get my blended cardstock, and I'm gonna do the B, A, and then I'll do the E at the end. So I'm gonna move these over as best I can without, you can have them touch the dies, it's fine. Let's put our lid on. We'll do the E when we do the second B, since we have to go through twice anyway. One of my hairs is always in the scene. So we're gonna get our take your pick tool, and we'll pop that A out and pop the center. We don't need the A again, but we do need the B. The B popped out easily for me. All right, so let's put the B back over here, and then we'll squeeze that little E down here. Sometimes you just have to finagle it as best you can to get everything to fit. There we go. All right, and put that, cover that, and run it through. Let's bring it back. Grab our E and our B. This time it decided to get stuck, so we'll pull it out. So there's that, and our E. And then these pieces I'm just gonna discard, but you can see how I did a whole little strip of cardstock so that I could get it all done I was hoping that I had enough to be able to do all 8 letters. All right, that's it for our die cutting. So I'm gonna get the big guy out of the way. All right, let's make sure that my mat is in a decent place. Okay, so let's finish putting our card together. Let's clean our stamp. That's always fun. We're gonna do a little gluing. I really love this stamp set. There's actually a smaller bike as well in this set, which would have been cool to use. But I chose to use the large one. I'm gonna put these dies away though real fast with you guys, because if not, I can see myself losing them. That will make me very sad. I've already lost the cap to my Take Your Pick tool. Have no idea where it is. And I am like religious about putting it on. I think it rolled off somewhere, maybe into my trash can, and ended up in a landfill somewhere. But I love this alphabet a la mode. If you don't have these letters, I highly recommend them. They're pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and finish assembling our card. So I have a piece here of 1.5 inch melon mambo, and it's long, it's just a scrap. It's a little, about 5.5 inches, but we just need a piece to cover these. So what I did was I lined this up and I just held it in my hand, and there's just a hair of pink showing on all the sides, just a hair, okay? And so what I am doing is just holding that in place. I'm gonna bring my mini guillotine cutter out, and I'm just gonna cut so that just a slight hair is cut all the way around. It's just a teeny bit because we're gonna shift it like this, okay? So let's do the next one. Make sure just a little hair is all the way around. Put it into my cutter. I like to move this just in case. There's that one, and one more. The back wheel. All right. I hope that you guys will join me on Tuesday nights. It's really fun to work on live projects with you guys. I have a lot of fun with that. All right, so I'm gonna add some wet adhesive to the back of these white squares, and I'm just gonna put them not where they're stitching. And then I'm gonna rotate the piece like this so that a little bit of pink is showing. Actually, I'm gonna go this way, I think. So that a little bit of pink is showing on all 4 edges, like that, just barely out the back end. And I'm gonna use my roller over each one to make sure that it really grabs. All right, let's add our next one. And that's why we just needed a tiny hair of pink showing all the way around. It didn't have to be massive because I just wanted to skew it slightly like this so that there was just like points of pink popping out from each one. We have one more to go. All right, let's glue this one down. And then we're gonna use our wet glue, and we're gonna glue the word babe to our card. That'll be the next part. All right, so here is our third one. We're getting all our parts and pieces ready to assemble our card when it is time. So this is the middle piece. All right, so let's work on our word babe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to turn my letters upside down. This way. And I'm going to use my tweezers, and we're going to glue this. I'm going to put this up here. We don't need that yet. Move the card to the corner. All right. So let's get this going. So I'm just going to put the word babe. And I'm going to try and put the adhesive now. It may be a little much like that, but I'm trying not to use too much. It just happens sometimes. It likes to roll out quick and it can oversaturate, but I'll show you what I'm going to do before I stick them down. That's why I love this silicone mat so much. I get definitely my money's worth out of it. I use it almost every single time I do any kind of crafting. Okay, so let me grab my tweezers. All right, so we'll start with the E, and I'm just gonna tap it and take the excess off, and then that way when I put it down over here, I want to kind of use that little edge of white as my my anchor. Let's do our B, and again, too much, so we'll tap some off. And the beauty of the silicone mat is that it listens so well. Now I'm gonna go to the side. I don't want too much. So we go. So there's that one. And then our last one is our A. And again, excess, goodbye. And there's our word. And if there is a little bit of extra when it's completely dry, you can use your adhesive eraser. So when I have this on my mat, I don't like to have a mess, so I always keep baby wipes in my drawer next to me. So I will wipe this down completely, and that way it's ready for the next glue session. I just like to really make sure it's good. All right, so now comes the dimensionals. So we're going to use 4 minis, 1 in each corner, and then I'm going to use a strip. I'll show you. In the middle, I have strips of the, the edging of the dimensionals, and I'm going to use the edging strip to put in the center. I will show you in a second if I can grab it and get it going. So this little edging that's around the dimensionals, so I'm just going to trim maybe like 3.5 maybe. And we're gonna put these in the middle like this. It just gives it a little support in the center, and now I just have some little pieces left, so I'm gonna move them probably over to this one. That's another one that's empty. And then I can get rid of this backing. All right, so let's go ahead and figure out where we're going to put these. Let's pull the backs off. And I also am going to use some dimensionals on my word legendary. So I will use some thin strips, I'll show you that in a second, off of the off of the mini dimensional backings. They have kind of a wide border, and they work really good when you're trying to do just thin slivers. So let's do the middle one first. We're going to put it closest to the word babe, like that. And then we'll ride this one kind of up and over. And then this one is going to get angled in the other direction and also up, like so. That looks pretty good to me. And now the word legendary. This is our last step for the outside, then we'll work on the inside. So the edges of our dimensionals, the minis, they have wide borders. And so when I need long skinny pieces, this is what I use. So I trim them off. We'll pull both backs off at the same time, because it's hard to get these off with the take your pick tool because they're so skinny. But they really fit for projects like this, where you need to put just a long, thin piece. All right, so we're gonna put this one here, and I think I need maybe 2 more and then we'll be done. You know, I put a lot of adhesive. I just really like my projects to be nice and stable, and if I don't have enough adhesive, I don't really feel like they are, so that's why I do that. All right, well, 2 more. Let's go that one. I want to put that one on the Laverne L, kind of angled here. And then we'll put one by the Y there. All right, one more, skinny. I know these are extra skinny, and I could have just glued it straight on. I just wanted it to have a little bit of dimension because the other pieces had dimension. And then see that little round circle part of that L? I'm gonna use one of these little pieces from that and stick that on. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. I'm having some electrical stuff done in the house, and I have an electrician working. He told me I wasn't gonna lose power, so hopefully I am good to go in here and we don't lose we don't lose power. So I wanted to put the word legendary over that word babe right there. So there's our outside, and now we're just going to do a little bit of stamping on the inside. We're going to make this a birthday card for one of our biker friends. All right, so on the inside I want to put a flame, and then I want it to say ride on, it's your birthday. So we're going to start with the flame, and I want it to be light. I don't want it to be super dark. So we're going to stamp it off a few times. I'm going to grab my scrap if I can find it, what I've done with it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So we're going to take and we're going to stamp it off. And then we're going to do the second generation. I'll show you the original card. See? So we're going to put that right here in the center. So there's my pink flame. And then in the black memento, we're going to use Ride On, It's Your Birthday. I'm going to ink that up. Whoa! Good thing this is a distressed piece of wood, right? Okay. Let's see. Ride On. I can't see what I'm doing. Got to bring it down a little. There we go. Now I can see. Hopefully it will be straight. All right, Ride On, It's Your Birthday. And I'm gonna clean my stamps. I'm trying to find my lid for my ink pad. It's disappeared on me. Oh, here we go. I covered it with my scrap paper. All right, so let's clean our stamps. Now you know why my mat is a piece of distressed wood, because if I make any mistakes, it's really not a big deal. All right, so there's our card. Let's move all of our products out of the way so that you guys can see it. And then I'm gonna bring the products that we used today so that you could see the Legendary Ride stamp set and dies. Okay, and the steel metal plate 3D embossing folder. And then we used Alphabet a la Mode and our beautiful stylish shapes dies, which I think are fantastic. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. I had fun bringing it to you. If you guys have a Biker Babe in your life. Now you know what to make them. Thanks for being here, guys. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Don't forget to subscribe and share my video. I appreciate it. Happy stamping.